Velocity, money, peace, and blessings. All right, so getting into the Saturn Stambhana in Vedic astrology. Stambhana pretty much being the condition as to where the natural significations or the natural activities of a planet get frozen. It's not able to properly perform like it naturally would and whatnot, right? And Saturn becomes Stambhana when it's in conjunction with Mars. Why is this so? To find out, we first have to understand the qualities of Saturn and the qualities of Mars, and their coagulation or whatnot, right? So Saturn, first of all, Saturn is a disciplinarian. Saturn is the sacrificial one. You know what I'm saying? Saturn, if you want to call it, Saturn really is like Batman astrologically. Like, Batman, he came from this unfortunate background or whatnot. Dealt with a lot of grief, a lot of depression, a lot of melancholy. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? Had to pretty much push himself. He did have billions of fucking dollars, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't poor, and Saturn starts off usually poor, you feel me, and has to work his way up. But Batman as a superhero really did have to work his way up because all of the other superheroes have powers and shit, and Batman is just this one weird guy who has a fascination for bats for some reason, be doing thousands of push-ups all day and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So Batman, like he had to put a lot of time, a lot of discipline, a lot of sacrifice to become on the level to where he can compete with actual superhuman beings or whatnot, right? So that's Saturn. Saturn can show basically the process of starting out in a state of lack. You're starting out less than. You're starting out with a lower reputation. You're starting out as somebody that might be lame, starting out as somebody that might be what I say, lame, afflicted in some way, whether it be physically or mentally or whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? Those are the qualities of Saturn. And due to your lack, due to you lacking some quality or not having a certain thing, you want it really bad. You feel like it's a necessity. You need it, you crave it or whatnot. And through your craving, you're willing to give up whatever it takes in order to make this particular manifestation. You're willing to do whatever it takes in order to fructify and to bring to life that which is the goal of your desire. And that's Saturn. It's the rags to riches type planet or whatnot, right? Somebody who didn't have it in the beginning, but they did so much work, so much sacrifice, so committed to obtaining this particular goal, and they reach it. And when they reach it in invaluable excess. You know what I'm saying? And it's something that can't be taken from them because the foundation that they've built to reach this particular thing is so strong and deeply rooted. You know what I'm saying? It's damn near unbreakable. You know what I'm saying? Saturn is the immovable object. Saturn is the process of the coal getting put under pressure and refined to diamond. You know what I'm saying? Saturn is, like Jeff Bezos starting out, in a garage and Amazon or whatever, and building it into this multi-billion dollar, or if I don't know if it's a multi-trillion dollar company, I don't know how much it's worth or whatever, but he's a multi-billion dollar nigga, right? And those are the things of Saturn, bro. Those are the things of Saturn. From the aspect of Capricorn, that's where all the actual intense level of work is done, and Aquarius is where the fruits are gained. That's where the success. That's where you're able to network. You're this extremely worldwide connected CEO and humanitarian for philanthropist. You feel me? Connected to different organizations and flying all across the world and conference calls and all of this, extra shit or whatnot. Yada yada yada, et cetera, et cetera. You'll see a lot of the greatest billionaires, or you'll see a lot of the, I guess you could say, more popular millionaires and billionaires. They usually have some placements in Aquarius or Capricorn. Not everybody, but you know what I'm saying? It's usually common. Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, fucking Oprah, you know what I'm saying? But I'm getting off track. Back to the Saturn Stambhana, right? So Saturn, the, it represents practicality as well. And it represents methodical process, patience, taking your time, building this house brick by brick. You know what I'm saying? Inch by inch. You feel me? You're taking your time and doing it the right way, the concrete way and whatnot, to ensure that the foundation of this house does not collapse upon itself, or that it can't be easily destroyed or taken from you and whatnot, right? Now, when Saturn comes into contact with Mars, you know, Mars is blunt. Mars is disciplined too. They're actually alike. It's crazy and very different at the same time. So Mars follows the law, Saturn follows the law. Mars is about discipline, Saturn is about discipline. But where they differ at, Saturn is more so about restriction. Mars does not like to be restricted, even when it comes into Capricorn. It just gains the intelligence that, oh, the obstacle or the restriction is actually what's making me more powerful. Therefore, I'm going to sacrifice and I'm going to channelize my energy like a fucking lightning bolt instead of a shotgun. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm going to channelize my energy into a light ray beam of some sort so that I can push through or obliterate the obstacle with precision in a timely manner, you feel me? In a faster manner at that, you feel me? And get to the exact objective that I'm trying to accomplish, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm kind of all over the place, but bear with me. So yeah, when Saturn comes into contact with Mars, Mars dominates and overpowers this conjunction, right? Off to the top of the head, this can be a person who can experience accidents, who can experience blunt force trauma of some sort, dealing with some type of abuse, especially if you got it in the eighth house. That is not it. But it could represent, you know what I'm saying, traumas to the bones, or you know what I'm saying, just being in highly pressurized situations. You know what I'm saying? This is the unstoppable force coming into contact with the immovable object, right? Both of these two forces are in war. You know what I'm saying? Now, this can be great if this energy is properly channelized into a certain area of life and they are able to actually carve the way or the road to the particular success that you desire. But this can cause a lot of problems in a lot of different areas. You feel me? If the sign is unfavorable, or if Mars is too volatile and the Saturn is not properly strong enough to withstand the volatility of Mars, if that makes sense, right? So, for instance, right? For instance, Saturn Mars. I already said accidents, like, you know what I'm saying. Saturn represents the bones, so potentially could be some bone issues, teeth issues. You feel me? Issues with the foundational structure of the body and whatnot that might arise. That might arise. Issues with the root chakra. Issues with survival, or thoughts, subconscious patterns, or you feel me, stuff at the back of your head that deals with surviving, not being abused. You know what I'm saying? Because Mars and Saturn, when they come together, Saturn is like trying to restrain Mars, trying to throw karma on Mars. You know what I'm saying? Trying to bring scenarios or whatever as to where Mars has to sit down and behave or whatnot. But Mars is trying to say, fuck that. I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? This is what I want to do. This is what I feel is the way. This is what I feel is the objective. This is what I feel to go. I'm not fucking listening to you. You're a slave. You're a Sudra. You know what I'm saying? I'm Mars. I'm a warrior. I'm a commander. I will fight you. I will go against you. You know what I'm saying? If I have to. And fuck your law or whatever you're trying to tell me is the right way or whatnot, right? So getting to it, especially if the Mars is a lawless one, like if the house and if the sign position call for Mars to be like a lawless Mars, or a Mars that just doesn't necessarily abide by rules or whatnot, right? Uh this can cause for like you know you doing activities or things that can lead to problematic situations, can lead to imprisonment, can lead to you being put into Saturn-like conditions. You know what I'm saying? Can lead to injury. You know what I'm saying? Can lead to you getting your ass whooped. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Cause it could lead to you whatever, yada yada yada, et cetera, et cetera. But one great thing about this conjunction, this person will stand up for themselves 1,000%. 1,000%. You know what I'm saying? The willpower of this individual, or the fearlessness of this individual. For some reason, the individual may have fear, but Mars just gets fed by the Saturn in some way. Like Saturn tries to control it, but Mars just gets stronger and stronger. Being in this position or whatever, and it's like the masculine aspect. It gets refined. You know what I'm saying? It becomes stronger. It doesn't necessarily mean the person has to be one with an anger problem, or a brash personality, or a disrespectful personality, or a personality who crosses lines and boundaries. All of these things can be very much so true depending upon the position. But, the bottom line of what I'm trying to say is when Mars comes into contact with Saturn, the Mars does get refined, and the masculine aspect, it does get strengthened and whatnot. And this is a person who can take care of themselves, take up for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Stand for what they believe in, or that direction or the course of action that they want to take. You know what I'm saying? This is a person who will be skilled in some type of way, will be exceptionally skilled, because this is like the willpower of Mars combined with the sacrifice ability of Saturn. So this is a person who can have like a dialed in attention onto one particular thing, or to a few particular things, and master those things or whatnot. Lamonte Good, the cyber yoga dude or whatnot, he has Mars, Saturn, and Aries and whatnot, and he's a masterful yoga specialist. You know what I'm saying? Master of Asana. You know what I'm saying? Muhammad Ali, Mars, Saturn, and Aries as well. You know what I'm saying? Arguably the greatest boxer of all time and whatnot, right? Uh, who else? Ra'um Nefer, Mars, Saturn, conjunction with Moon and Taurus or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? He's a master spiritualist. He's a master of ancient Kemetic knowledge and things like that. These are just people I'm naming off the top of my head with this Mars and Saturn conjunction. I don't know if I know any other celebrities who have this conjunction. I'm trying to think. I know of some people, some prominent people that I'm skipping. I believe, is it Ellen? It's some. It might be Ellen. I don't know. It might be Ellen or Oprah. You know what I'm saying? But they both are masters in what they do in regards to the talk show host thingy and all that. Can't remember anybody off the top of the head who has this Mars Saturn conjunction. Nature Boy, you know what I'm saying? Nature Boy, he has Mars and Saturn, you know. And the nigga was calling himself Master Teacher. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Master Teacher, the one with the way, the one with the light or whatever. But he had a masterful ability to manipulate, at least manipulate the people that, came across him or whatnot, right? And it was in Virgo. It was in the sign of Virgo and whatnot. You feel me? Yeah, I guess he was, teaching the health for the vegetarianism, veganism at one point in time or whatnot. And even within his life, the way that Mars and Saturn could also show up in Virgo, he did have issues with survival, you know what I'm saying, being homeless, you know what I'm saying, to the point to where he had to strip, to where he had to do some very strange activities for some pieces of commerce and whatnot, right? Uh, yeah, which will lead to, you feel me, problems within the subconscious mind, problems within, you know what I'm saying, the self worth of the individual, whatnot. But at the same time, he was a willful nigga. He was a nigga that was saying, you know, he is God. You know, he's three God. You know, the master teacher. You know what I'm saying. He was the quote unquote alpha. You feel me? Whatever he say, whatever he want to do, the way that he want to go about life. You know what I'm saying? That's what he do. The nigga was a master barber. You feel me? Nigga had his own barber shop, you know, built his shit from the ground up, committed to that, was doing that for a while or whatnot. And, it, you know, was somehow able to have a lot of, you know, bread, a lot of money, a lot of, you feel me, excess, even while he chose a spiritual journey or whatever, right? So that's just to show, you know, a couple ways that the Mars Saturn conjunction can manifest. It's real malefic though. It can be real malefic. You feel me? It can make somebody a harsh mouthed asshole if it's placed in certain conditions, right? And going back to Nature Boy, he definitely had it in Virgo and whatnot, and he definitely was extremely disrespectful and abusive to the people in his camp. You know what I'm saying? On and off camera. You know, they say it was even worse off camera and whatnot, right? But it definitely was crazy on camera, right? So yeah, Mars and Saturn, it can make somebody that's extremely, you feel me, harsh with their presence, with their speech, you know what I'm saying, with, you know, their body language, you know what I'm saying, all that. They don't care. They're very blunt. You know what I'm saying? The reason that Saturn becomes Stambhana as well, Saturn, it gives you fear. It gives you caution. It gives you the warning sign. It gives you the, hey, you know what I'm saying? You did this last time and, you know, a bad thing happened. You might not want to do that again, or you might want to be patient, or you might want to take it slow. You might want to respect the boundary. You might want to respect the limitation. You might want to honor the obstacle that's in front of you. And then you can get to where you really need to go, right? That's what Saturn does. But Mars is like, nigga, fuck that shit. I'm cutting through that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm getting straight to it. I'm not respecting the law or the limitation of a Sudra. You know, with Saturn represents Sudras as slaves or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, I'm doing what the fuck I wanted to do, right? And this is what can make this combination. This is what can make this combination, you know, spew these type of individuals or whatnot. Even Ra'um Nefer, the master comedic scientist or whatnot, Ra'um Nefer said some wild ass shit. Like he said something about, I can't quote him verbatim, you know what I'm saying, but he said something about if a man rapes you, you're supposed to either let him or thank him. Don't quote. I ain't quoting the word for word, but he did say some wild fucking shit. It's on YouTube. It's a video of some shit. If I find this shit, I might post the shit in the comments. You know what I'm saying? But don't take my word for it. Don't. I ain't trying to shit on this nigga name. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to. You know. This just stating shit that was on record. Goddamn it. But it's just to say, showcase the nature of, you know, the Mars in a Saturn conjunction, or something that they could potentially produce. Not all people will be assholes with this conjunction, you know what I'm saying? If Saturn happens to be, I would say, if Mars is healthy and Saturn is healthy as well and whatnot, right? Um, or I would say, if there's a good amount of balance between these two, it can work into making an individual relentless with their willpower, but at the same time collected. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, not disrespectful. Like, you're assertive, but you're not aggressive. This is the difference, right? Uh, what else? Like, even Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali apparently or reportedly, allegedly, right, was beating on his wife, and he was fucking all different types of bitches. off camera or whatnot. Mars and Saturn in the 10th house of Aries. That's real malefic. Saturn is debilitated. It's in the 10th house, which is a strong house, but it's still with Mars. And Mars is in the 10th house, which kind of restrains the Mars. So it's like, Ali wasn't necessarily the most disrespectful nigga on camera, at least. Like he was a shit talker. You feel me? He said what he said. He was arrogant. But off camera, supposedly, allegedly, he was putting a pause on his girlfriends or his wives or whatever, and he was cheating or whatnot, right? But what else? Who else got Mars and Saturn? Can't think of nobody else from Mars and Saturn. What else I want to say about this conjunction? This caused a lot of tension too, a lot of anger too, a lot of nervous tension. You feel me? A lot of a need to get into some type of rigorous physical activity and exercise. With this conjunction, it's a lot of energy. Like it's a lot of power within the vessel that has to be regulated, that has to be ordered out, or it can lead to a psychological crash out if this individual isn't properly disciplining themselves for real, bro. Uh but yeah, that's my video on Mars and Saturn, or Saturn Stambhana, rather. Ultimately, Mars freezes Saturn's ability to like slow down, caution, exhibit patience. You know what I'm saying? Freezes Saturn's ability to respect a certain level of limitation, respect the obstacle. You feel me? Uh, to not just be so blunt and not just be so headstrong like the ram, like Aries or whatever, not to just be so upfront and quick with it and instinctual and whatnot. It obliterates that ability of Saturn. It obliterates the ability of Saturn to cast its karma, to give you a lesson. Like it'll cast karma, but the individual often will not be able to necessarily register properly. Why did I go through this? You feel me? What was the lesson behind this? What did this teach me? They don't care about being taught or receptive to a greater universal yada yada yada, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Especially Nature Boy. Now that I'm thinking about it, what they know is they have a will, and when you have a will, you have a way, and they obliterate the obstacle. Now that could be a great thing. That could be the thing that leads them, to source supreme enlightenment or whatever you want to call it. Or it can be something that kind of works against them. You know what I'm saying? So it's not always bad or it's not always good or whatnot, you know. And every Steinbonder combination is not always going to completely kill the qualities of that particular planet either. You know what I'm saying? This combination has a lot of benefits, to be honest. Velocity.